Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Aim Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Bhur Bhuvaswaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Krishnaya Vasudevaya Hare Paramatmane Pranata Klesha Nashaye Govindaye Namo Namaha. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiv Bandhanan Mrityor Mokshiya Mamritat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Welcome to today's Yoga Vashistha Satsang. Our humble prostrations to the all-pervading Brahman, to our worshipful Guruji, Swami JyotirmayAnanda Ji Maharaj, to all the sages and saints, all the holy, beautiful scriptures, divine scriptures, and to the divinity in each of you. हमारा दंडवत प्रणाम है उस ब्रह्मांडीय ईश्वरीय शक्ति को, हमारे परम पूज्य गुरुदेव स्वामी ज्योतिर्मयानंद जी महाराज को, सब साधु संतों को, ऋषियों मुनियों को और आप सब में विद्यमान परमेश्वर को. Let us enjoy the bliss together of this divine satsang, the Yoga Vashistha Satsang on Fridays and Srimad Bhagavad Gita on Sundays. Hari Om Tat Sat. Let us pray for the entire humanity, all people who are struggling with any kind of problem, maybe physical, maybe mental, maybe financial. So many troubles we all face in this human life. So we pray for all, and may all benefit, may all be safe, may all find employment, may they be happy and full of bliss. Karma, the theory of karma is very powerful, and the illusion we go through is very real. Although it is all an illusion, but our practical realities can overwhelm us sometimes. So we should always have a compassionate, loving heart. Let us pray for everybody. When we join together in Satsanga, we are connected with sages, saints, scriptures, all the divinity, and therefore our prayers become strong and powerful. So we should always pray, may God guide us, may God help everyone. And when we say everyone, we are part of that everyone. जब हम सबका मंगल चाहते हैं तो हमारा मंगल भी स्वतः ही हो जाता है. So with that thought, let us read our Gurudev's message, his blessings for today. Swamiji says, Blessed Self, adorations. Divyatman, Shubhashirvad. Surrender your body, mind and senses in the 1,000 arms of the Divine Mother. शरणागति कीजिए, दिव्यात्मन आशीर्वाद. शरणागत हो जाओ, शरीर को, मन को, इंद्रियों को देवी माता के 1000 हाथों में समर्पित कर दो. सरेंडर. Feel in your heart the Divine Mother is working through me. Divine Mother. Gupta Navratri is about to come. So the 9 nights of Mother worship, and today's message is also for the Divine Mother. because the compassion and love of the mother cannot be compared to anything else. So feel the mother is working through you, using you as her instrument. भगवान मातृ शक्ति आपको उपकरण बनाकर आपके थ्रू, आपके माध्यम से कार्य करवा रही हैं. Whatever I think, whatever I do, whatever I speak proceeds from the divine mother alone. जो कुछ भी मैं सोचता हूँ, जो कुछ भी मैं बोलता हूँ या करता हूँ, वो सब ऐसा सोचिए मातृशक्ति से ही संभव है. I am a mere instrument in her divine hands. जैसे माँ सरस्वती वीणा बजाती है तो आनंद की लहरें दौड़ती हैं. Just like goddess Saraswati plays the veena and that becomes divine ecstasy. The music is melodious and beyond our excitement. It passes that. It is so blissful. So that is the instrument we can all become in divine mother's hands. ऐसे ही हम माता के चरणों में वो उपकरण बन सकते हैं जिससे हमारा कल्याण होगा. And pray to the divine mother wholeheartedly. संपूर्ण हृदय से मातृशक्ति का स्मरण कीजिए और प्रार्थना कीजिए. Pray more for the strength to surmount the difficulties of life than for removing them. Don't avoid the karma. The karma has to be handled either in this embodiment or in a future embodiment. Therefore, it is better to pay off our debts while we have the ability and the wisdom. तो भगवान को बोलिए कि हमें शक्ति दें कि हम दुखों को सह सकें और हम में शक्ति आए ताकि जो भी संघर्ष हम करें वो हम सहज रूप से कर पाएं. May it become an easy process for us. Let the difficulties come, but if you are like a mighty lion or an elephant, things cannot scare you. You will overcome them. ऐसे ही भगवान से शक्ति मांगिए. Ask for Shakti. You see Mother Durga sitting on a lion, fearless with all kinds of weapons. No problem is big enough for her to be afraid of. Much in the same way, when we have the Divine Mother's protection, why should we be afraid of anything? ऐसे ही जब भगवान की कृपा और शक्ति हमारे ऊपर हो तो हमें भय करने की कुछ भी आवश्यकता नहीं है. Pray with feeling. Pray with feeling मतलब भावना से प्रार्थना कीजिए, भाव से. And when feeling deepens, one does not need words, isn't it? You may not know Japanese, but when you see a Japanese mother with her baby and you smile, she smiles back at you, that is the touch of the hearts. The feeling doesn't matter whether the language is there or not. The language of love is universal. Much in the same way, when we have tears of devotion with God, with our Ishta Devata, words are not needed. The connection is spontaneous. तो ये भावना बहुत आवश्यक है कि हम शुद्ध भाव से भगवान का ध्यान करें. Divine love then flows in the heart. Divya Prem, divine love is love which is beyond all human concepts. Limited. Human love is limited, but divine love is unlimited, full of divinity. It flows through the heart. आपके हृदय में वो भक्ति और प्रेम बहने लगता है. You commune with the mother in profound silence. That is the state of samadhi, turiya. divine communion, which means you are not in this world anymore. When you have that level of devotion and feeling, you have transcended this world, because in that environment, in that space, there is no space actually, there is just silence, and you become one with your Ishta Devata. The two become one, multiplicity becomes one. May you receive the blessings of the Devi, Swamiji says. What a beautiful, deep, loving message this is. And may the Divine Mother guide each of you through your challenges, through your troubles, and may she continue to guide you with love and wisdom. Hari Om Tat Sat. So let us do our Kirtan, and then we will start our Satsanga on Yoga Vashistha. Jaya Ganesh, Jaya Ganesh, Jaya Ganesh, Pahi Mam, Shri Ganesh, Shri Ganesh, Shri Ganesh, Raksha Mam, Sharvana Bhava, Sharvana Bhava, Sharvana Bhava, Pahi Mam, Kartikeya, 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 Raksha Mam, Jaya Saraswati, Jaya Saraswati, Jaya Saraswati, Pahi Mam, Shri Saraswati, Shri Saraswati, Shri Saraswati, Rakshamam, Jaya Guru Shiva Guru Hari Guru Ram, Jagat Guru Param Guru Sat Guru Sham, Om Adi Guru Advait Guru Anand Guru Om, Chid Guru Chid Ghan Guru Chinmaya Guru Om, Jagat Guru Om Guru Sachitananda, Shankracharya Shivananda, Jyotirmayananda. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Shiva 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 Shivaya Namah Om. Hare 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 Namah Shivaya. Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Ramchandraya. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Anjaneya, 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 Pahi Mam. Hanumanta, 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 Raksha Mam. Om Shakti, Om Shakti, Om Shakti, Pahi Mam. Brahma Shakti, Vishnu Shakti, Shiva Shakti, Raksha Mam. Adi Shakti, Mahashakti, Parashakti, Pahi Mam. Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Raksha Mam. Gangarani, 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 Pahi Mam. Bhagirathi, 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 Raksha Mam. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Hari, Hari Om. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Hari, Hari Om. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, 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 Om. So let us continue. We are on a very important and a very wonderful topic of what are the signs of an enlightened person. Since we are trying to achieve that in this very life. Liberation, mukti, nirvana, self realization, God realization, all these terms which are all the same, they mean the same thing, enlightenment. So we were covering the different phases, different stages, different things what enlightened saints do. So we will continue that जर्नी. हम एक मुक्त जीवन मुक्त संत कैसा होता है, उसका कैसा अनुभव रहता है, इस बात का हम अध्ययन कर रहे हैं. तो भगवत गीता में भी इसी बात का वर्णन है जो भगवान कृष्ण ने अर्जुन को ज्ञान दिया था. एंड एज वी मेंशन, the divine scriptures all address this in great detail, but Yoga Vashistha is extremely profound on this topic because this is the journey of Lord Ramas self-realization. That is why they say it is not possible that you don't make rapid spiritual progress if you patiently sit and contemplate on Yoga Vashistha. Yoga is union with God. Vashistha Muni, Lord Rama's Guru. So we will continue the experience of a sage. A sage has, as it were, swallowed this world in his expansive consciousness. The sages and saints, they have such a big Atma or consciousness that the whole world shrinks into it. The whole, just like for God, these earth is just like a grain. Even not only for God, but even science will tell you that. We don't need to go very far, that in this big cosmos, earth is just like a sand particle. And to us the ocean seems so big, but imagine from God's point of view, where the whole earth itself is like a dust sand particle. What, how much water? So therefore the sage feels similarly. After attaining enlightenment, to them everybody becomes part of the self. Therefore it is as if the world doesn't exist. It exists for practical purposes, but inwardly the consciousness becomes so big, so dynamic, so strong that it's as if the world has muted itself. And now he enjoys the nectar of bliss ceaselessly as he continues to slumber in mystic sleep. This is the achievement that the sage has, and this is a silent journey. It cannot be expressed, just it has to be felt. तो ये ऐसा अनुभव होता है कि जैसे उस ऋषि मुनि ने, जिसको आत्मज्ञान हो गया है, उसने पूरे संसार को जैसे निगल लिया हो. अपनी आत्मा उनकी इतनी विस्तृत हो जाती है कि सब कुछ उसमें समा जाता है और अब वो आनंद की निद्रा में विहार करते हैं. That is the mystic joy that they experience. Even in the absence of worldly pleasures, the bliss enjoyed by a sage is beyond comparison. तो संसारी सुखों के ना होते हुए भी, क्योंकि सब संतों के पास ये सब सुविधाएं नहीं रहती हैं. We are used to material comforts. We want comfortable homes, comfortable temperature, nice cars, good clothes, good family. To us, this is our world experience, and we call them worldly pleasures. On the contrary, if these are taken away from us, we call it adversity. दुख समझते हैं जब ये चीजें छिन जाती हैं. But the sage, जो जीवन मुक्त संत है, वो इनसे परे रहते हैं. The divine sages, enlightened beings, they are beyond this definition that we, the world, have given ourselves. His consciousness is the light unto all lights. He sleeps in his essential nature. तो इन ऋषियों मुनियों की, साक्षात्कारी संतों की विस्तृत आत्मा सबको प्रकाश देती है. That light is lighting everybody. And वो उसी में ही आनंद निद्रा विहार करते हैं. He sleeps in his essential nature. Therefore, while we are awake, we think this world is real. The enlightened beings are as if asleep to all this. They were awake also at one point, but now they have achieved what we are trying to achieve. He is devoid of anger, desire, greed and infatuation. तो ऐसे जीवन मुक्त संत को क्रोध को पे नियंत्रण रखते हैं, इच्छाएं नहीं रहती हैं, लोभ खत्म हो जाता है और आसक्ति भी खत्म हो जाती है. Devoid meaning nothing, not even a trace. Externally, they may show anger, like Durvasa Rishi and all these things you hear and you see, but inwardly, they have no malice towards anybody. They are like innocent children, just simple, pure. So they have given up all anger, all desires, greed and infatuation, attachments. Whereas we are in the process of learning to do that as sincere sadhaks. So who are we? We are emulating Jivan Mukt saints. Therefore, if we want to become like them, we have to hold that as the role model, as the ultimate criteria. So if we still have desires, if we still have some anger, if there is still some jealousy or greed or selfishness or attachment left to anything, know that we are perfecting ourselves. Rome is not built in a day. एक दिन में कुछ नहीं होता, तो धीरे धीरे करत करत अभ्यास ते जड़मती होत सुजात. So we will continue to work hard, persistent and be tenacious in our effort to get there. Practice makes perfect. So the more we practice, the more sattva we try to be in, the better it is for our advancement. Otherwise, rajas comes and pulls us into worldly activity, and then it doesn't take long before we get into tamas also, inertia. So the night of ignorance which harbors these forces of darkness has come to an end for the enlightened being. तो जो अविद्या का पर्दा रहता है, अंधेरा रहता है, वो इन जीवन मुक्त संतों का समाप्त हो जाता है. They don't have that level of ignorance left anymore. They have completely annihilated ignorance. And that is the journey that we are on, to remove ignorance. जो हमारा पर्दा है अविद्या का, that has to be removed. His bliss is beyond human imagination. So when we say beyond human imagination, meaning there is nothing in this world that we can use as a comparison. अर्थात जो भूमा सुख ये जीवन मुक्त संत अनुभव करते हैं, ऐसा इस धरती पर कुछ भी नहीं है उसकी तुलना करने के लिए. There is nothing to compare against, because that is way beyond our wildest concepts, and it cannot be explained or interpreted or understood through our limited senses of sight, sound, touch, taste and smell. It is beyond that. So such a sage sleeps so soundly that even the severest type of adversity does not agitate his awareness. So what is the test? That doesn't matter what kind of adversity comes. कितना ही समस्या आ जाए, ये साधु संत, जीवन साक्षात्कारी संत विचलित नहीं होते हैं. So just like Lord Rama, one day At the night, they told him, "You will be crowned king." And then in the morning, they told him, "Sorry, not only are you not going to be crowned king, but you have to leave the kingdom also and go away for 14 years and live in the forest." Such a contrast. And in both the situations, Lord Rama's face was the same. Imagine height of joy and height of adversity, all in a matter of a few hours. But that is the sign of an enlightened being. So here, यहाँ पर भी यही बता रहे हैं कि कहाँ तो राज्य मिलना था और कहाँ 14 वर्ष का वनवास मिला, फिर भी भगवान राम का चेहरा में कुछ भी परिवर्तन नहीं हुआ. सेम फीलिंग, सेम थॉट, सेम लुक्स, because he was enlightened by then. Here, Lord Rama is very young, almost a teenager, only 16 years old. Imagine a teenager learning enlightenment from his divine master. What a beautiful time that must have been. Treta Yuga. So, enjoying the bliss of his inner self, he is ever detached from the external objects of the world. It's important we understand that bliss is coming from within, not from outside. Yet the whole world is chasing it outside only. We go to concerts, we go to restaurants, we go to countries, we do all this. We think we are finding joy in material objects, but that's an illusion. It's backwards. The real joy is coming through your consciousness. It's just that your desire has been satisfied by completing that activity, whether it was a good restaurant or a good vacation or whatever. But since you had created that stress within, you were at unease. And once you completed it, you got back to your original state, which was peaceful. So we are the ones who continue to distract our peace through desires. So therefore, these sages and saints don't have desires. They already know that they have everything they can ask for within. ऐसे ही जो जीवन मुक्त संत होते हैं, उन्हें ये ज्ञान रहता है कि जो वास्तविक सुख है वो इन भौतिक वस्तुओं में नहीं है, वो आपके हृदय में विद्यमान है, वहां से आ रहा है. तो उसको वो अनुभव करते हैं और वो संसार से बिल्कुल उसमें फंसते नहीं हैं, संसारी प्रपंच से बिल्कुल मुक्त समझिए रहते हैं. Having spread the bed of pure consciousness, he allows his self, which is subtler than the subtlest and greater than the greatest, to rest on that bed peacefully. In fact, his self rests in the self. Imagine that state. Anorainam mahito mahiyan, which means that self, God, Brahman, omnipotent, that big divine energy is smaller than the smallest and larger and greater than the greatest. It is smaller than an atom and it is greater than the mightiest of the mountains or the cosmos even. So that is the definition of yourself, आपकी आत्मा. That is, self is unborn, unattached, indivisible, and perpetual. It cannot be born and it cannot die. आपकी आत्मा, इसका ना तो जन्म होता है, ना मृत्यु होती है, ना शस्त्र काट सकते हैं, ना इसके ऊपर कुछ भी प्रभाव पड़ता है. So, in fact, without the self, we cannot exist, because it is that light of the self that is reflecting through your intellect, through your mind, through your senses, through your eyes and into the objects. And if you don't have somebody who's blind, they feel through um, their touch, and then sound and smell. Other senses work. For us, we need all five senses. One sense goes away, our 1/5 of the world is gone, and we interpret it according to our experience. हम अपनी इंद्रियों के हिसाब से, इंद्रियों के अनुभव से ही हम सुख दुख भोगते हैं, लेकिन ये आत्मा का जो सुख है वो इन सब से परे है. The self does not need these things. It is the light that is creating, sustaining you. The minute the self leaves, we cannot survive anymore. So the self is now at complete rest. Think of that for a minute. Normally, what is happening to most people, including sadhaks, that they have to remove this big layer of ignorance through purification process. There is no other way. The Vedas and the Upanishads guide us. Nanya pantha ayanaya vidyate. There is no shortcut to this process. There is no easy way for this process. We have to pay our dues to become enlightened. Just like, doesn't matter how much money you have, when you have a disease, you suffer. You cannot have your servant suffer for your disease. You have to do it. You have to go through the surgery. You have to go through the pain. And eventually, this world is nothing but a big hospital, isn't it? Corona or no corona, this or that, disease or no, terminal or no terminal. Eventually, we are all terminal, isn't it so? We are all one day going to depart, and not only in this life, we have done it in millions of lives. So we are used to this process, yet we have not learnt our lesson yet. Now, this embodiment through an enlightened guru, through the scriptures, through the divine masters, we have come very close to that process. But any minute we can get lost or distracted. Therefore, इसीलिए श्रद्धा और भक्ति के साथ हमें चलना चाहिए. Therefore, all sages and saints guide us to be totally compassionate, humble, and become nothing. The more you dissolve yourself, the closer you are getting to God. The more the desire for name and fame is evaporating, you don't have anything, you don't want to run into this anger, greed, and all this stuff that is going on in the world. Now you are in the dimension where we are qualifying ourselves for this journey, because this is the only way through which we will pass these gates. So when that self rests in the self, जब वो आत्मा आत्मा में आराम करती है, तो फिर वैसी वस्तु इस धरती पर कुछ भी नहीं है. There is nothing else like that. इसीलिए साधु संत जो हैं वो ये बात समझ लेते हैं और उसी में ही आनंद भोगते हैं. They don't need anything for that reason. Their faith, their love is so strong that they have decoded this mystery, so they have no fear of death also. Otherwise, most people have a lot of fear of dying, because it is called abhinivesha klesha. In every past embodiments, we have these negative emotions due to attachments, and therefore, due to ignorance, we keep those emotions going. बट वंस यू लर्न दिस प्रोसेस, एक बार आप जब ये सीख लेते हैं कि उसकी कुछ आवश्यकता नहीं है, आप मुक्त हैं, आत्मा को पहचान लेते हैं, तो सब भय खत्म हो जाता है. ऑल द फियर इज गॉन. सो that self upholds millions of worlds in his mystic body, and yet he sleeps peacefully. So we are the microcosm of the macrocosm. God has given us every single thing that He has. His miniature version is inside your own heart. Think about that for a minute. That energy that is controlling the sun, the moon, the planets, the cosmos, all kinds of Milky Ways, and all these 14 world systems, or whatever we have, whatever dimension our mind can imagine, you also have in a micro aspect. Every single thing has been condensed. You cannot divide God. You cannot make portions of Him. You cannot cut Him. It's not He has given you some things and not the others. Why? And then we see this even. हम ये प्रत्येक दिन के जीवन में भी महसूस करते हैं through our daily experiences. So he says that Atman is pure and untainted. So think of a prism, the crystal going through different colors. You put red color in front of a crystal and there is light, the crystal becomes red, exactly like the color. You put blue in front of it, it will become blue. You put orange, orange. Doesn't matter, whatever color you are putting, the crystal is emulating that exactly the same. But is that the color of the crystal? No, it is beyond all definitions of color. It is beyond, it has no color. That is why when the rays of the sun refract, you create those 7 colors, appearance of that: violet, indigo, green, red, blue, and yellow, and all. Vibgyor, they say. So that is what the self also goes through. Yourself, आपकी आत्मा में कोई त्रुटि नहीं है, कोई रंग नहीं है, कोई संसार का प्रपंच भी नहीं है, वो शांत मुक्त है. बट जब आप उसके आगे संसार की रील चला देते हैं, फिल्म चला देते हैं, तो वही सब दृश्य उस आत्मा के आगे आने लगते हैं. नाउ द सेल्फ गेट्स डिल्यूडेड बिकॉज इट स्टार्ट्स एंजॉयिंग द शो. Otherwise, the self is a witness only, does not get involved with anything. He sleeps peacefully. So the role therefore is for us to find that peaceful, perpetual, calm state that we all possess. But what's the but? The but is the movie continues to play on and on and on because of ignorance. Therefore, we never experience it. Having withdrawn the dream of the world process within his consciousness, he enjoys profound sleep. So, this is the secret of enlightenment, that these sages and saints, through their tapasya of many lifetimes and following these disciplines, they have found the magical key of going within, withdrawing the world process, and going within in their Atma. There he enjoys profound sleep. You also do that every night. In your sleep, you do it, but you do it in an ignorant manner. You simply find rest and peace and you wake up refreshed, but you are not able to remove ignorance in your sleep. आपके निद्रा में अविद्या भंग नहीं होती है, इसीलिए हम फिर संसार के प्रपंच में फंस जाते हैं. He permeates even the expansive ether as he enjoys the infinite consciousness. Think about it, subtler than ether, that Atma. Therefore, we cannot explain it. We have to experience it. ये अनुभव का विषय है, ये केवल समझाने का विषय नहीं है. So, the snoring sounds of inhalation and exhalation of breath do not interrupt the sleep of the Atman. The Atman is ever the same. आत्मा के ऊपर कुछ प्रभाव नहीं पड़ता. So, having become the self, he sees this world existing in a remote corner, as it were, and freed from its turmoil, he sleeps soundly. तो वो आत्मा को ज्ञान लेकर वो इस संसार को एक तुच्छ वस्तु की तरह ही समझते हैं, उसमें बहुत फंसते नहीं हैं और वो आनंद से निद्रा लेते हैं. They sleep very soundly. So what are we discussing? क्या हम विषय का अध्ययन कर रहे हैं कि आत्मज्ञान क्या है? What is enlightenment? Just as a person who is fully awake is able to recollect his dream with great effort, in the same way, a sage develops awareness of the world with great effort. And at the same time, he is fully established in the self. So they are inversely proportional to each other. The worldly people versus the sages. And in Bhagavad Gita also, there is this beautiful shloka where Lord Krishna says, when the world wakes, an enlightened person sleeps, and when the world sleeps, the enlightened person is awake. Not physically, not from a body perspective, but from an ignorance perspective. Sages and saints have conquered it, therefore they are not affected by this drama of the world process. So they are awake. So they are established in the self. ऐसे ही आप भी अपनी आत्मा में समाहित हो जाइए. Just like you see the illusion of the different colors on the crystal, much in the same way, the self also is going through different images of the world process. But for an enlightened sage, he knows that these are just illusions, they are not real. Whereas for most people who are not enlightened, for them it is all as if really happening. They see the colors, they see the frustration, they see the practical difficulties in the world, and this is their reality, and therefore they are at that level just yet. Just like a person dreaming, when you are dreaming, that is your reality. You cannot say nothing happened. Something is happening. That's why you are dreaming. And then when you wake up, nothing. तो कुछ नहीं होता. जब आप सपने से बाहर आ जाते हैं, स्वप्न से बाहर आते हैं, तो उस समय कुछ नहीं होता. लेकिन प्रैक्टिकल रियलिटीज के लिए ये सब खेल चलता रहता है. Though ever abiding in mystic sleep, a sage continues to enter into theatrical show of the world as an actor does. He acts as if he sleeps, dreams, and wakes up in his daily life. So, for most people, what is really reality is only a dream for the enlightened saint. जीवन मुक्त संतों के लिए ये जीवन जीना एक स्वप्न के समान है. Just like when you are in your dream is your reality. But when you wake up, it is no longer your reality. You don't attach yourself to the dream. Much in the same way, the waking world is a dream for the enlightened people. ऐसे ही साधु संतों के लिए, मुक्त आत्माओं के लिए जो जागृत अवस्था है वो एक स्वप्न के समान ही है. While playing the part of living and moving in the world, he is constantly attended by the divine friend whose family members are serenity, self-control, forbearance, wisdom, dispassion, contentment, and all divine qualities. तो ऐसे ही जब ये साधु संत ऋषि मुनि जो आत्म साक्षात्कारी हैं, इनके एक दिव्य मित्र हैं और वो उनके दिव्य मित्र का परिवार भी है. सो द डिवाइन फ्रेंड एंड हिज फैमिली क्या है? क्षमा और आत्मनिर्भरता, इंद्रिय संयम, विवेक, वैराग्य, संतोष और सब दिव्य गुण उनमें रहते हैं. Assisted by these, he sports until he enters into the bodiless state of liberation. So, at that point, once that ignorance is removed, the sage has become enlightened. Some get it while alive in their body, others get it who may be very advanced, but they passed away and did not attain enlightenment in the body, but they have crossed the gravity pull of gravity was already crossed over. So those souls also never come back to mrityu loka. They don't come back, they are not born again. This is the guidance of the holy scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads. All of them have gone into a great deal of depth, and they have explained this in great detail. So that is called krama mukti. ग्रेजुअल लिबरेशन इज द मीनिंग ऑफ क्रम मुक्ति. तो उन लोगों को क्रम मुक्ति प्राप्त हो जाता है. देयरफॉर डू नॉट get frustrated if you are putting in a lot of effort and you feel, what is happening to me, will I get enlightened in this life, or what will happen. The divine plan is watching your every move, every thought. Even forget about the move of your body, even the thought, what you are thinking. That is why God is called Antaryami. Antaryami, meaning he can read your thoughts. So many times we say, oh, I prayed, but I forgot to mention this. Doesn't matter, he already knows. Without your saying, he knows. The past, present, future, all these details have already been um, figured out. You are simply an instrument, which is what Lord Krishna also told Arjuna कि हे अर्जुन, ये तो पहले ही मर चुके हैं, तुम केवल युद्ध करो, just fight, do your duty. All this has already been done. You are simply an instrument. If you don't do it, somebody else will do it, because it's already done. You just have to come play your part. Therefore, don't get frustrated, don't get angry, don't get what is happening. Enjoy the journey every day. Enjoy the journey as much as the destination. The spiritual journey should not be one of stress, it should be one of joy, happiness, ecstasy, anubhuti. Even if you are at all times progressing, that is exactly what the soul needs to go through. Remember, we studied this last week also. All these enlightened people didn't get there by chance. They have already worked for it in many lives. And so have you. Every one of you who on this Friday night is taking out your time and you are enjoying satsanga more than whatever people do on Friday nights. Isn't it? So there is no end to the worldly drama. You have to figure out what is your priority. So that is the bodiless state of liberation. यही एक असली हमारे लिए स्थान है, परिस्थिति है कि हम मुक्ति पा जाएं. एंड वी definitely, Lord Krishna has clearly answered Arjuna's question that any amount of effort on this path is not wasted. Not even an iota is wasted. Therefore, you will continue to accrue interest on that and carry that bank balance with you when you depart. That is your spiritual capital, which does not extinguish. ये खत्म नहीं होती है, ये साथ चलती चली जाती है, चलती ही रहती है. तो इसके साथ खूब हमारा कल्याण होता है. So that is what we say, whether we get Jivan Mukti, which is liberation in life while we are alive, or we get Krama Mukti, which means we get liberation after we depart. Regardless, we are not coming back. And that is the important point. Because why is it so important? Because you have now forever um, kicked the bucket of grief, pain, and all those things, birth, death, old age, disease, adversity, prosperity, all this. You have woken up. No more sleeping. You have woken up. So it doesn't matter whether you did it now or you did it after you passed away, because still no coming back, no more dream. And everybody else will continue the dream till they also achieve that state. बाकी सब भी उसी स्थिति से गुजरते रहेंगे जब तक उनको ऐसी स्थिति प्राप्त नहीं होती है. So let us move on to section 170. We just talked about the um, liberated sage's friend and his family. So let us introduce them. Let us meet the friend and his family, because for saints, what happens? Everybody is their family. The whole world becomes their family. But to help us understand this better, Sri Rama asked, "O sage, who is this friend of a liberated sage?" ये जो मुक्त आत्माएं होती हैं, भगवान राम पूछते हैं, इनके मित्र कौन हैं? मुझे बताइए कि इनके परिवार के सदस्य कौन हैं जो उनको इस लीला में सहायता करते हैं? Who are these people? The friend of the enlightened sage. So Sri Vashistha said, Vashistha Muni, the Guru, said, Karma is the friend of the sage. Karma, action. Therefore, you will see sages and saints, they have achieved what they came to do, they have achieved the indescribable, yet they are busy now sharing that knowledge with everybody. They are busy doing their actions and karma. It तो ये कर्म करते रहते हैं जीवन मुक्त संत भी लोगों का कल्याण करने के लिए. इट हैज थ्री एक्शंस, थ्री एस्पेक्ट्स. तो ये कर्म के तीन विधियां रहती हैं. स्पॉन्टेनियस एक्शंस, कर्म जो ऐसे ही आ जाते हैं, साधु संतों के लिए वो प्लान नहीं करते हैं, जो आता है हाथ में कर लेते हैं. दूसरा है सत्संग, actions that are going to help people for the welfare of the world, जो संसार के कल्याण के कार्य हैं वो भी करते हैं. और तीसरा जो सत्संग है, गुड एसोसिएशन, scriptures, study of scriptures, practice of spiritual disciplines, intensifying the sadhana, all these things, they now guide the world for what they have achieved. They are so compassionate, they want everybody to get it. That is what a true saint is. They are filled with love and compassion. वो करुणा और भक्ति से भरपूर रहते हैं. This karma is backed up by a highly purified mind. तो जब ये कर्म करते हैं जीवन मुक्त संत, उनका मन एकदम शुद्ध रहता है. Their mind is totally purified. Actually, the mind has been annihilated, which means that the mind is now only a show. There is no need for the mind anymore, no need for the intellect anymore. They are directly in communion with the divine self. Remember, the light of the self comes to the intellect, from the intellect through the mind, mind to the senses, senses to the objects, and therefore our practical experience. So when they achieve this, in other words, the knowledge, the perception, the experiences become instantaneous. Therefore, they are using these only as props, the intellect and the mind. They are there, but they don't need them. They are there as tools for their use, but they are beyond, way beyond. They just do Leela. Leela is acting. They are actually just, for us, our intellect and mind is everything. If something happens to, that's what they call mental illness these days, huh? Everybody is mentally ill. So so many millions of people, because we are so attached to the mind and the intellect and the thought patterns and so on. Whereas these people, these saints and sages, have now completely transcended that part. That is the study. Through various spiritual disciplines, they are guiding the joy of these sages and saints is perpetual. This friend in the form of good karma is like a father infusing courage during the adversities of life. Therefore, um, the sages, even though they are enlightened, they have nothing more to do, nothing more to accomplish. Now their mission becomes saving other people from this cesspool, from this ocean of life and death. People are bobbing up and down, up and down, and here comes the sage in his boat to lift up. He gives his hand, and many people are raising it, but whoever, one at a time, he's helping people and taking them to the shore, saving them. So that is what they do. It is like a beloved wife restraining a person from evil actions. Karma, it becomes your companion, it guides you, it guides these sages and saints on what to do, how to do, although they have no more activity left in the world, but they do this out of a good heart, a pure compassion, out of trying to remove other people's ignorance. It is an inseparable companion for the sage. That is why you see these scriptures, these deep Upanishads, the deep experiences of this Guru Shishya Parampara, from the master to the student, then the student becomes the master, and then he guides more people. You keep lighting one lit candle, continues to light so many candles, and that is what this journey is. Inseparable companion for the sage, this friend. This karma serves the sage wholeheartedly. So, just like we do things, in this case, this karma is totally, कर्म जो है आवश्यक है एक संत के कल्याण के लिए, क्योंकि वो इसके माध्यम से संसार का भला करते हैं. इट bestows the bliss of liberation upon the sage. This karma eventually enlightens the sage, because the sages are always doing it. Even after their liberation, they will continue to do the same thing, although they are not required to do it. There is no compulsion for them to do it. They do it because they feel that gives them joy. They want to help people. It is the very embodiment of faith and conviction, and it promotes discriminative knowledge in a human being. Discriminative, knowing right from wrong, good from bad. अच्छे बुरे का ज्ञान होना ये बुद्धि का काम है. और ये जो हम कर्म करते हैं, कौन सा कर्म करना चाहिए या नहीं करना चाहिए, ये साधु संत भी इस बारे में सोचते हैं. Just as the sun removes darkness, good karma removes the darkness of egoistic desires. Think about it. That is why we say do good karma, good karma. After all, if there is good, there is bad. That is why we do good. Eventually, good and bad both have to go away. Karma has to become a karma for us to be enlightened. But initially, from tamas to rajas, rajas to sattva, from inertia to activity, from activity to purity. That is the process. Therefore, all sages and saints and scriptures tell us to purify, do good, become compassionate, become loving, become ethical, all these things, so we can purify ourselves. So, just like the sun, when it rises, darkness vanishes. The minute the sun comes up, जैसे ही सूर्य का उदय होता है, तो पूरा अंधेरा भाग जाता है, अंधेरा नहीं टिक पाता है. But so in the same way, when we do good actions, our egoistic desires start to melt away. The darkness of ego, the darkness of lust, passion, greed, selfishness, all these things start to, they are corroding our inside, our consciousness. So therefore, when the light, just like when the light comes, darkness runs away. Much in the same way, when good karma comes, these bad karmas start to dissolve. They cannot stand there. So that is what is truly dear to the soul. It is always gentle, affectionate, free from agitation, and non procrastinating. So sages and saints are always gentle, सौम्य रहते हैं साधु संत, और बहुत प्रिय मधुर भाषी, और उनमें विचलित नहीं होते हैं किसी भी चीज से, और वो आलस नहीं करते हैं. Saints do more work than so many people in the corporate world and other people. They think, oh, most people are doing these worldly activities, but the saint is being propelled for um, trying to give other people liberation. So they are always, Shankaracharya ji, a beautiful example. At 32 he even shed his body, but before then he had traveled, crisscrossed India, and so many, everywhere he was just guiding people about the Advait principle of non-duality, about the dream and waking up. And he was consciously all the while saying Brahma Satyam Jagad Mithya. All this philosophy was this Brahma consciousness is the only truth and this world is an illusion. Yet he knew it's an illusion, yet in this illusion he continued to tirelessly work till he shed his body. Not for a minute did he rest. Even today, all these combined professors from all these universities are amazed. How could somebody have so much devotion, intellectual knowledge, and everything is written? So much of Sanatana Dharma today exists because of Shankaracharya Ji Maharaj, who is our lineage creator of the sannyasa tradition. It's him who established the four mathas, who brought Sanatana Dharma back into its original state. Otherwise, there were so many fractures in this. Um, many people were getting diluted and going here, there, and so many sects had formed that people were all confused about what true Sanatana Dharma is. So he brought back the wisdom which was already existing from thousands of years ago, actually timeless. Thousands we say just because we live in this world, we have to give a number. But otherwise, this is timeless only. So this is, they don't procrastinate, sages and saints. वो आलस नहीं करते हैं किसी चीज से. It is intent upon bestowing the highest good upon the sage. Look at our Guruji, 92, and still every day he does a satsang and gives us messages and guides us. That is the glory of all liberated sages. Anybody who comes under that shadow is extremely fortunate, extremely blessed, and he may have done many good activities, many good karmas that we don't even know how fortunate we are. Yet it is the journey of the few. Few. Look at you, how few we are. But it is not the matter of quantity, its quality. If you go back in history, you will see all these billions of people that are following Christianity today. Where were they when Christ was teaching? Only a few people, few handful. Out of them, one also turned to be a traitor only. 30 for 30 shillings or something, he gave away Jesus's life. And then, not only in Christianity, everywhere, Buddha had only a few. Today, everybody is talking about Buddhism, everybody is talking about Christianity. But what happened when these masters were there? Where were the people? Sleeping. You see, and that is what happened to Sikhism. When he came, only 5 people stood up when he says, "Are you ready to give your life for my cause?" Only 5 out of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands, who said, "Yes, Guruji, we are there with you." So you see, this is a very, self enlightenment is not a business. It is not something to be traded. It is not a worldly activity. Therefore, this is how it is. It is intent upon bestowing the highest good upon the sage. That is what the karma does, wants to help, help, help. This friend has four sons. This friend, karma, of the sage, four sons. We are talking in poetic language, not real sons, but the four sons are purity, charity, austerity, and meditation. See, sons, sages also have families. So they have the family of purity, Shuddhata, which they have earned through their tapasya, charity, Danam. They give, give, give. And the highest Danam is Jnana Yagya. Jnana Yagya, creating light where there is darkness through wisdom. That is the greatest. But also, anything that makes anybody's life a little more comfortable without doing anything wrong is charity, like feeding the hungry, giving water to the thirsty, teaching somebody how to get some skills for employment, or guiding somebody to lead a better life, are all forms of charity. Even listening to somebody is an act of charity. So many old people lingering in nursing homes, old age homes, and their own family doesn't even have time to talk to them. Once a month, somebody shows up once in a while. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but it really is true, isn't it? If you really think about it, people are running, running, running. What they are running for, nobody knows. And in the meanwhile, charity is not as much as it should be in this world. That is why there's so much hunger, so much homelessness, so much pain. And austerity, meaning tapasya. Don't be afraid of austerity also. घबराइए नहीं, ये जो आपको मेहनत करना है या ये जो कष्ट आते हैं इस मार्ग पर तो आएंगे ही. Without austerity we cannot grow. We have to go through the pain process to grow stronger. In the gym you go to build your muscles, you have to lift the weights, create resistance, go through pain. That's how we have to also build our spiritual muscles through austerity. The more we do that, the stronger we become. And finally, meditation, dhyana. Meditation, meditation, meditation. Very important, because in that you learn what? You learn to introduce yourself to yourself. Most of us don't know who we are. We think we are this body, we have all these external friends and family, and we are always yup, 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 talking, chatting, and there is no silence. We don't know who we are. The only time we are silent is when we sleep, and we are ignorant in that time, and we wake up and we start that whole act again. But through dhyana, through meditation, we get the ability to introspect who we really are. And what is that process? Controlling the mind, because lots of thoughts come. बहुत ध्यान में अलग अलग विचार आएंगे, विभिन्न विभिन्न विचार आएंगे, उनको शांत करना है. All that process is teaching us. And in meditation you are consciously making an effort. In sleep, deep sleep, you don't have a choice. You just sleep and ignorance takes over. You get comfortable, you wake up. But in meditation, you are consciously deciding to expand your consciousness, to try to see the light within yourself. आप अपनी आत्मा को पहचानने का प्रयत्न करते हैं, जिससे आपका जो वो अंदर का अंधेरा है वो दूर होता है और प्रकाश आ जाता है. These sons are the delight of the hearts of all living beings. Beautiful qualities, that's what it means. All saints have these qualities. Mudita, mudita is a beautiful quality known as cheerfulness. Cheerfulness is the beloved wife of this friend of karma. So you should do your karma cheerfully. Then you have both the Shiv and Shakti together. Karma with enthusiasm. Like the lustrous rays of the full moon, she continues to shower bliss in all directions. Everybody loves cheerful people, people who are smiling and happy, who don't complain about everything, because all actions have to be done. Some will be easy, some will be difficult, कुछ आसान होंगे कुछ कठिन होंगे, लेकिन कर्म करने ही हैं. Further, this friend of the liberated sage has two other wives in the form of Samta and Maitri. Samta means equanimity and Maitri means friendliness. So that is, these are the different qualities, because this whole chapter is about enlightenment and what are the different traits and skills and how do these people act and what is their true essence. So they are very dear to their Lord, these qualities. Purified intellect, which is always attracted towards patience and righteousness, is the gatekeeper of this friend. Purified intellect is called the buddhi, shuddha buddhi, because normally the intellect is worldly. Many smart people in the world with a lot of good intellect are um, engineers, doctors, professors, very wise in making money, very successful to live in this world, but their intellect is worldly, worldly, not purified. It is purified only when you understand this deep mystical meaning of the purpose of your life. Otherwise, so many people get this embodiment and they leave this body thinking they are the body only, which is always attracted towards patience and righteousness. So if your intellect becomes purified, अगर आपकी बुद्धि शुद्ध हो जाती है तो आपको धैर्य और राइचियसनेस, अधिकारित्व, अर्थात जो धर्म है, धर्म का ध्वज आप पकड़ लेते हो और शांत भी हो जाते हो और धैर्य भी आ जाता है. These are automatically the qualities of every sage. Through this is their true family, this is the gatekeeper. Whatever, wherever the friend goes, these wives, sons and gatekeeper go along with him. So therefore the sage is not alone. You may think he is alone, but inwardly he has all these beautiful relationships going on, a friend, a family, wives, all this through qualities only. So Satyata is his treasurer, truthfulness is the treasure. Thus, the friend of the Jivan Mukta liberated sage is ever ready to attend upon the sage along with the wives, sons, gatekeepers, and treasurer. That's why they are called Swami. Swami means Lord, Lord, God. You have achieved, and so that doesn't mean every Swami is enlightened. That simply means that that is the goal. The goal is Aham Brahmasmi. Become Brahman, become pure like that. So there you have been given a target. Therefore, and in South India, uh, many people call their husband Swami because it is considered that he is the Lord, he is the God of the wife. So don't get confused with the term Swami. When you say Swami Nikhilananda, Swami JyotirmayAnanda, or Swami Shivananda, these are saints who took sannyasa and gave up worldly life for a life of purity, exchanged it for that. And that is what it is. But for Jivan Mukta, they have all this family also of different qualities in their mind, not real people. In the midst of these companions, a sage sportively frees lives in the world. So therefore, when people are discussing worthless topics, the sage remains absolutely dumb. He does not discourage them, he doesn't tell them this is wrong, don't talk about it, because he's fully aware there is no need to disturb the flow of every person at that level that they are at. You see, you don't teach a kindergartner PhD level stuff. You try to do it, you will confuse the child and also waste your own energy, isn't it? So they know that fact, therefore they keep quiet. They don't explain to Brahman is one, this is the Advaita concept, or this is what you should do. No, 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 no. In the Bhagavad Gita also, everywhere it says very clearly, and also only when Arjuna asked the questions would Lord Krishna answer. Not he knew everything, but he only answered when asked. Because unless somebody asks, if you feed them, force feed them, it will create indigestion and it cannot be digested and it will not be well received. Therefore, Gita also says the same thing. Don't share with people who are not ready to accept it, because it has to come from the heart and you have to be qualified. Otherwise, these are sacred scriptures. So, what is needed? Faith. Fundamental requirement is bhakti, faith, and sincerity. With reference to essenceless words, he is stone deaf. So the sages and saints don't mind if somebody yells at them or criticizes them, because just like in this world there are mad people, for the saints and sages they view the whole world as a void itself. He is dead towards all activities that are not supported by the law of righteousness. So they have nothing to do with time wasters or useless things, or ideas that are not going to guide them, but they become very kind and compassionate, like a thousand-tongued Shesha serpent, to expound the rules of righteous conduct. So when they are in the right setting, when they are in the satsang, that's when, like a peacock that unfurls its feathers and displays its full glory when it sees dark clouds, the sages, enlightened sages, feel like that when they are in satsanga with qualified aspirants who are willing to learn. Then they share all their knowledge with them. Then he becomes like Brihaspati, the preceptor of the gods for promoting spiritual knowledge. They will give everything to the deserving students. He is an excellent teacher for understanding the heart of his disciples and for removing their doubts as effortlessly as in the winking of an eye. A person, an aspirant may be struggling, all he does, the Guru just sits in front of him, and so many times the questions are melting away, questions are being answered without even asking. Such is the glory of that Guru, and the presence and the ability. And also, if verbal questions are asked, they will answer with full knowledge and with a lot of patience. A sage is endowed with the qualities of magnanimity. They're gracious, charity, universal love, compassion, spiritual beauty, and righteousness. So that is the glory of these sages and saints. We have completed section 170, and I hope you have taken some of this to heart. The beautiful messages we all enjoyed through this conversation between Lord Rama and Sage Vasistha, and through the gracious book of our Guru, Swami JyotirmayAnanda Maharaj, who has explained this in such simple detail for all of us. Hari Om Tat Sat. So next Friday, we will pick up section 171, negation of the world phenomenon. Neti neti, negation means not this, not this, and we will continue this journey next Friday. And let us do our arti together, and then we will conclude our satsang for today. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat. जय जय आरती विघ्न विनायक श्री गणेशा। जय जय आरती सुब्रह्मण्य सुब्रह्मण्य कार्तिकेया जय जय आरती वेणुगोपाला वेणुगोपाला वेणुलोला पाप विदुरा नवनीत चोरा जय जय आरती वेंकटरमणा वेंकटरमणा संकट हरणा सीतारामा राधे श्यामा जय जय आरती गौरी मनोहर गौरी मनोहर भवानी शंकर सांबा सदा शिव उमा महेश्वर जय जय आरती राज राजेश्वरी राजराजेश्वरी त्रिपुर सुंदरी महाकाली महालक्ष्मी महासरस्वती महाशक्ति जय जय आरती आंजनेया आंजनेया हनुमंता जय जय आरती दत्तात्रेया दत्तात्रेया त्रिमूर्ति अवतारा जय जय आरती शैनेश्वराया शैनेश्वराया भास्कराया जय जय आरती सद्गुरुनाथा सद्गुरुनाथा शिवानंदा सद्गुरुनाथा ज्योतिर्मयानंदा सद्गुरुनाथा साईं बाबा जय जय आरती विघ्न विनायक न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चंद्र तारकं नेमा विद्युतो भाति कुतो यम अग्निः तमेव भान्तम् अनुभाति सर्वं तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति ओम शांति 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 ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्ति भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ करचरणकृतं वा कायजं कर्मजं वा श्रवणनयनजं वा मानसं वापराधं विहितं विहितं वा सर्वमेतत्क्षमस्व जय जय करुणाब्धे श्री महादेव शंभो जय जय करुणाब्धे श्री महादेव शंभो जय जय करुणाब्धे श्री महादेव शंभो समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु ओम ब्रह्मर्पणं ब्रह्महवि ब्रह्मग्नौ ब्रह्मणाहुतं ब्रह्मैव तेन गन्तव्यं ब्रह्मकर्म समाधिनः अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः प्राण अपान समायुक्ता पचामन्यं चतुर्विधं हरिः ओम तत्सत् ब्रह्मर्पणमस्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु ओम शांति 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you to all of you divine souls for attending today's Yoga Vashisht Satsang, and we will see you on Sunday for Bhagavad Gita. And I know last Sunday unfortunately we lost the audio, and I have been talking to Sadashivaji, one of our he attends when possible. He stays quite busy, but he is an audio expert. He's the one who guided us with this technology that is making life a little easier. But that day he is not able to troubleshoot exactly what happened, why after 30 minutes all of a sudden the audio was gone. But he's encouraging us to continue. He thinks it was probably a one time problem. The funny thing was the internet was on, so we could see all of you, but and we could not hear any audio also. So apologies for that inconvenience, which we, whenever we go to a third setting like the temple and stuff, things are never the same. It's a little bit challenging, but let's hope that this Sunday we go without any problem. That's what he's thinking, Sadashivaji, and we will give it a try to see if that's what it was. Because for the this is the first time something like that has happened, where we could not troubleshoot properly exactly what happened. He's thinking maybe it was some frequency that interrupted the pravachan, the vibration of this little setup that we have. So we put it on these lapels and it's a wireless structure, so it's very much possible that something interrupted it. But we thank you for your patience and your beautiful presence. It makes our satsang so much more joyous when we are all together, especially when we are doing it live, because that energy is different. The vibrations are so much better when we are all jointly um, putting in our effort. So, Hari Om Tat Sat. We will see you again this Sunday um, from the temple. Om Shanti 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 Shakti Bhakti Mukti. Stay strong, stay happy, and continue your daily sadhana. Hari Om, Hari Om.